Welcome back, Pokemon Trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it is Thursday, June 1st, which technically means we are pretty late for this week's Pokemon News Update video thingy. I was going to have it on Monday. Not a lot of news to mention as of that day, so I decided to hold off until Wednesday, yesterday, and not to get into too many details, but we had a bit of a emergency, kind of a family emergency going on. The short version is one of the cats became pretty sick over the weekend, and she's doing okay now. But we had to take her to the vet, and that kind of tied up a lot of my day on Wednesday. So just trying to take care of her, do the best that we can. But anyway, she's off at the vet. She's doing much better now, and hopefully she'll be back here tomorrow if she's doing good overnight. So anyway, that off to the side, that did delay things for the news update until today. And before we get into any of the actual news, or even getting into the booster packs we're going to be opening this time, I just want to talk about how there were a lot of videos missed over the weekend. And basically, something about myself is that I like to think of myself as somebody that can take things in stride when a lot of negative things, or not a lot, when negative things happen to me. I like to think I can take it in stride and just say, oh, that's just one thing, we'll move on to the next thing. But I can get overwhelmed by stuff. So when a lot of negative things happen at once, it does kind of like build up on me, and I find myself kind of hard to deal with it. So, for example, basically, last Thursday-ish, Friday, a couple things happened that were disappointing to me. Made me feel, I will fully admit, kind of like a bit of a loser. Now, it's a bad way to look at yourself, but it happens from time to time. So, I'm currently trying to see if I can afford to go to a special convention. I'm not going to really say what, although, you know what, I might as well just say. I'm hoping to go to Anna Maritime in the Maritime provinces here, up in Fredericton, New Brunswick, which is on Canada Day weekend, the first weekend of, well, technically the last weekend / first weekend of June/July. So, I've had plans to go and do that for a little bit of a time. I was hoping I was going to have a lot of more money saved up at this point to be able to afford a lot of stuff for this trip, and things happened where I kind of had to admit I don't have the money to go to this convention. But I think it's still going to work out. You know, I might have to sort of pay my friend back who I'm going up there with in sometime after the convention, but I'm a man of my word. I will pay for, of course, what I have to pay for, but hopefully my friend is okay with me being a little bit slower on that. But that does make me feel kind of down to the dumps, loser-ish, so to speak, because I can't pay up front for certain things. And building up on that, I said for a little while now, I need to get a new computer to continue doing some good quality videos of Pokemon here on the channel. And with this trip for Anna Maritimes, that's going to sort of put the money for the computer on the wayside as well. So it's still going to be a long time until I can get a new system to do better quality recordings for the channel. So that also made me feel kind of bad. You know, I can't afford to do all the things that I want to do, which makes sense. We can't always afford to do everything that we want to do. But also on Thursday, I was finishing up the Pokemon Go Adventure Week footage, and jokingly, the whole time I was saying, I'm going to capture a wild Tyranitar. It is my goal to find and catch this. Of course, it's only random, right? So I have no control over if and when I do find a wild Tyranitar. Chances are I wasn't going to anyway, but I don't know. Despite the fact that I knew it was unlikely, still the fact that I was trying to hype it up, it made me really get my hopes up that on the last day I was going to find one to show you guys in the footage. Now, I didn't get the footage uploaded. I did record stuff on the last day / day and a half of Adventure Week, but no wild Tyranitar. So I just kind of held off the footage for the time being and didn't really put the time into editing it that if I wanted to have it uploaded in a timely manner, I could have put it out there. I still technically had to record an outro for the entire Adventure Week. And just because I was feeling kind of down in the dumps as it was, I didn't bother recording an outro. At this point, it's kind of like, no, too much time has passed to remember what I was thinking at the time to do an outro for that footage. I still have the gameplay recorded, and I did some evolutions, which I feel bad we didn't get to see just yet, but I can save that footage and show it off in the future thing. Most notably, I evolved my Onix, Boar, I named him, into Steelix. Pretty powerful Steelix, 1800 CP, but all that being said, the footage really wasn't, I wasn't in the right mindset to record the outro, so I thought I'm going to hold off on that footage. Just never really got around to doing it. Now, my whole plan was for the weekend to do some recordings of the Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battles for the International Challenge for May, because I was signed up for that and I did participate. I got my battles in. I recorded a video for day one of the first 3 battles. I won the first battle. I lost the second 2, but, you know, I don't always win all my battles in the videos anyway, so I wasn't really upset about that itself. But since I was already feeling bad about a few things already, that kind of, hit me a little bit hard as well. Then off camera, every other battle I played that day, I lost. Because I've never said I'm a good Wi-Fi battler. I like to try to be the best that I can, but, You know, that kind of proved that I'm still not top notch. I'm not even above the halfway curve, it seems, and that kind of put me down to the dumps even more. So I didn't even do the rest of the battles over the weekend. I had other stuff going on, and I just thought, I'm not in the mindset to do this. I participated, I got my 3 battles, I've earned the Manectite, as well as the other 2 Mega Stones for Tyranitar and Abomasnow, and I feel bad about it because I like to feel that I've earned what I get, and by earning, or by going through all the battles of an international challenge, I feel like I've earned the Mega Stones. This one I feel like kind of cheaped out on, again making me feel kind of bad. Not only that, even more so, we had a Pokemon League Cup at the Heroes Beacon Pokemon League for the summer season, and for some reason the computer would not allow us to set up a League Cup event, so we had to set it up as a League Challenge, and this is all behind the scenes stuff, don't need to get into, but essentially the computer didn't allow us to do the tournament the way it was supposed to be done, and we had to do it manually, and we have to, like, you know, fix things up after the fact. But given the fact that oh wait, so before I got to the League Cup, I had everything I needed for my recordings. My cameras, my audio recorder, my microphone, my tripod. When I got to the league and I saw the other organizer come walking in his nice bowling shirt, professor shirt, I realized I forgot mine at home. How do I forget the professor shirt at home? I know it's not a lab coat, and if it was, I would never forget that, but I forgot my professor bowling shirt, so that kind of made me feel, oh man, I don't even feel like I fit in here today. Jokingly. Of course, I am one of the judges there, so I fit in regardless of whatever shirt I'm wearing. But that did make me feel kind of like, ugh. And then the entire day afterwards, since the computer wasn't set up properly, I didn't set up the camera to record because I kind of lost track of, you know, exactly who's doing what's happening here. So after the event was over, I realized that we didn't record the last match, so I felt bad. See, it's not so much just when I feel bad for something that I've messed up for myself, because I can get over it, but for like this trip to Animaritime and the League Cup battle, stuff like that, I feel like I'm letting other people down because there's other people involved in things like that, and if I can't follow through for myself, as I say, I can get over that, but if it hurts other people, then that makes me feel even worse. So all this rambling being done, it was kind of a rough weekend. I really didn't have the mindset to do much. It was one of those things where it's like, you know, I just need time to take a break, recharge myself, and come back fresh the next week. So, which I did. I was going to record the Monday news thing again. There was not much news to mention. And Tuesday, I did get a video up for Pokemon Yellow Randomized Nuzlocke, and I'll have another one of those today as well once this news update is done. I'm going to record that and have it for later on tonight. But I was going to record the news for yesterday, but again, our little cat, and it's not Willow, the cat you've been seeing walking around in a lot of the videos. She's okay. She's actually been a protector of, you know, the other cat, little cat called Ming, which she's our youngest cat, and for her to get sick really bad like that, that really upset me. It makes no sense. Why can such a young creature, not even just an animal, but even people, you know, how can the young get so sick that, you know, you think they're going to die from it? Now again, Ming's doing a lot better now. Hopefully she'll be back tomorrow, and I'll give you an update there if you're interested in hearing that. But all that being said, a lot of negative things happening this past little while, but things seem to be in the clear. I think my Animaritime trip is still good to go. Unfortunately, we can't really do the League Cup thing, but I do want to do some interviews with some of the players still, some player profiles with our Heroes Beacon Pokemon League top players, give them a chance to shine on the channel. And one of the players was one of the folks that went to the regionals in Toronto this past 2 weekends ago, I think it was, and he was one of the top players. Again, apologies that we couldn't get that video, the match recorded, but I'll be doing a nice little sit-down interview with him at some point, possibly showing off a new deck strategy of his as well, or one of his classic ones. We'll see how things go. But all that now being said, I've spent the first, almost 10 minutes talking about my down in the dumpsness. It's time to perk things up with the rest of the news update. Let's start things off with the fact that I have not 1, not 2, not 4, but 3 Pokemon... Oh, I went the wrong way with that. Pokemon TCG booster packs. I've got an Ancient Origins, a Breakthrough, and a Fates Collide. You're probably thinking, where's Breakpoint? I don't have any Breakpoint on me. I've got to pick some more of those up. But we got 3 booster packs. As always, once we do the opening of these 3 packs, you have a chance to win the Pokemon TCG Online code card from each of these packs by answering the question of the day, which I'll give you towards the end of the video as I open those and give you that question. But, as usual, let's go ahead and talk about last week's question of the day. Or not last week exactly, but the last news update video thingies question. Question was, since we were talking about the, it's over on the side of the bed, the Pokemon Master Trainer board game, which is really fun. I played it with my niece and nephew last night, and I won. Good times. Didn't take all that long either. But question was, what is your favorite board game? Now, for the winner of the Primal Clash Booster Pack code card, we were named PhoneGuy21, who says, I never really played too many board games, but from what I've read, chess and Monopoly are... Let me try that again. I completely misread the word red. No, I misread the word played as red. Let's start this again. PhoneGuy21 deserves a proper report or reciting of his comment. I never really played too many board games, but from what I've played, chess and Monopoly are definitely my favorites. Now, fun little story about me. First of all, those are two pretty good games. I do like Monopoly. Question, which version of Monopoly do you like the best? Classic? Do you like Pokemon Monopoly? Do you like Nintendo Monopoly? Do you like... I'm sure there's what? There's Star Wars Monopoly, Lord of the Rings Monopoly, probably. There's every single Monopoly. I think I've even seen there's the Big Bang Theory Monopoly. I'm sure they all play the same, though. Anyways, thinking about chess, it was kind of funny. I had some friends over one time, a long time ago, and one of them wanted to challenge me to a game of chess that was in the living room. Now, he was pretty good at chess. I've never played it at this point. I might have played it a little bit when I was younger, but never really got into the strategy of it. And I mean, I know how the pieces move, but as we're setting things up, he moves one piece, and he says there's a way that if the opponent moves a certain piece, and I move this piece first, you can win the game on your second turn. And I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, the fact that things can work out like that. And then I just randomly moved one of my pawns up, and then he looks at the board, and he's like, you just made that move. I think it was his bishop, I think, could come directly in and take the king. And I'm like, alright, game 2? So I messed up really bad, but at least I learned there's a way you can win on your second turn of the game if the opponent is dumb enough, like I was. But anyway, congratulations to PhoneGuy21 for winning the Primal Clash code card. The winner of the Roaring Skies code card for Pokemon TCG Online is Nathaniel Jaffe. I'm pronouncing that okay. And they say, I love chess and this game, Axis and Allies. And I've heard of that game. I really don't know much about it, but I have heard of it. I am fond of strategy games. That's why I like the Pokemon TCG and Pokemon games. Well, that's my QOTD, #QOTD answer. But I don't really mind if I win or lose. I just like answering the questions. And that's pretty cool too. Like, one of the reasons I will fully admit is the reason I do the questions of the day is, first of all, I like to give stuff back to you guys for supporting the channel and being regular viewers. But also, the way I think YouTube works is the more comments a video gets, the more it's shown in the recommended videos for new people. So it's kind of a way that you guys can help support by answering a question, have a chance to win, but the more comments we get, the more that video might be shared to other people who might then want to come in and be part of our giveaways and just our overall Professor Chaz community as well. So, you don't mind if you win or lose, but your comment does help the channel, and I appreciate that. So, by answering and getting your name drawn, you do receive the Roaring Skies code card. Now, you're welcome to keep it, of course, it is yours, but if you don't really mind if you win or lose, if you want to hand the code out to somebody else, feel free to drop it in the comments. No pressure, it's up to you if you want to or not. You have won the code, it is yours to do with as you please. So congratulations again to Nathaniel Jaffe and PhoneGuy21 for the Roaring Skies and Primal Clash code cards, respectively. Now then, let's move on to the actual news, because there's quite a bit of things to mention, so I'm just going to move myself to the side as I always do. And first of all, let's talk about Pokemon TCG, because I was mentioning how I had heard that there's Tapu Bulu-GX in the Guardians Rising expansion. I didn't see it in the card list, however, it's apparently in one of the Pokemon TCG Island Guardian tins, which you can see here in the image right beside my head. So this is, of course, you can choose either Tapu Koko-GX or Tapu Bulu-GX. I'll show you the images in just a second there too. Each of these beautiful tins has all the astonishing power of the mysterious Pokémon-GX, who stand as defender of the islands. Now what's cool, Koko and Lele have appeared in the regular expansion of Guardians Rising. Bulu is now here in one of the tins. Where's Tapu Fini? I'm wondering, now they might already have this information out in Japan or not, I usually don't follow the Japanese news, but I wonder if Tapu Fini might have something to do with Ultra Beast, because I'm expecting the Ultra Beasts are going to be the next to come out in Pokemon TCG. I'm still holding out hope that it's going to be a sort of dramatic thing where it's not just a Pokemon card for these creatures, it's going to be some sort of new mechanic. It'd be neat if Tapu Fini has something to do with this new mechanic, if there is one. We'll see what happens there. But anyway, in each of the Pokemon TCG Island Guardians tins, you'll get one of the two Pokemon GX, of course, either Tapu Koko-GX or Tapu Bulu-GX. You get 4 Pokemon TCG booster packs and a code card to unlock a playable deck in Pokemon TCG trading card game online. That's right, I'm a professor. I know what I'm talking about. But get a code card. Now notice this when I got a Blaziken EX tin a while back, you don't just unlock the Blaziken promo, you get a whole deck to go with that. So, it's a pretty cool thing they give you. You don't get the physical cards, you get the booster packs, but you also get, for the online game, a full deck, plus the booster pack code cards themselves. So you get a bunch more cards online. and I really like that. I might want to pick some of these tins up eventually. I remember one of the first things I was starting to do on the channel was get a bunch of collections, like the theme decks, and I would occasionally get like the box collections, like for example Mega Beedrill EX or something. I would open those on camera. I haven't done that in a long time. Again, it's a matter of money. You know, I don't have the cash to really get these all the time. Hopefully at some point I'll get back to doing that, and basically just get back to doing unboxings on the channel too, because I haven't done those in a long time. I'd like to get back to some of that stuff. Anyway, you can pick up these Pokemon TCG Island Guardians tins, where Pokemon TCG products are sold. Now let's go ahead and take a look at these two Pokemon in question. First of all, we'll take a look at the Tapu Koko-GX. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same Pokemon, like text, you know, attack text card. Not the card art, but anyway. Playable, it's the same thing as the Pokemon, or the Tapu Koko-GX you get in Guardians Rising. The ability Arrow Trail. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench, you may move any number of lightning energy from your other Pokemon to Tapu Koko-GX. If you do, switch it with your active Pokemon. So it can charge up fast, it can move up immediately, not bad. For 2 lightning and a colorless, Sky High Claws does a decent 130. And for 2 lightning and a colorless, Tapu Thunder GX does 50 damage times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Pretty good power. Next we see Tapu Bulu-GX. I might want to see if I can get my hands on some of these and do a deck of this, because I like the way this works. Of course, it is your Grass-type Pokemon, the Grass-type Guardian, or Island Guardian. Horn attack for 1 Grass does 30. 2 Grass and a colorless does Nature's Judgment for 120 plus. You may discard all energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 60 more damage. You can do 180, which could KO a Tauros GX in one hit, plus a lot of other Pokemon. But for 2 Grass and a colorless, Tapu Wilderness GX does 150 damage and heal all damage from this Pokemon. A full heal, dishing out 150 damage in the process. Not bad for your 1 GX attack per game. So those are your 2 Pokemon GX of the Guardians, or the Island Guardians tins. I keep saying that wrong. And if you're interested in picking any of those up, check out where your Pokemon TCG products are sold. They should have those tins available, unless they're sold out. Anyway, moving on into... let's talk about the big news for the world of Pokemon Sun and Moon, the video games. Coming up is another online competition which I am really excited for, plus I'm terrified of, because I'll explain in a minute. As you can see, the Tiny Tourney is the next online competition. It's available to all Pokemon in the national decks, excluding certain mythicals and legendaries. Pokemon that have been brought forward from earlier games through the Poke Transporter, like Shelbert, my Squirtle, and all my other Pokemon, are going to be allowed to be used. The only downside, or the only restriction I should say, for the Tiny Tourney is Pokemon of 1 meter or 3 foot 3 inches or less are allowed. So it's only the little guys going to be allowed. So, on the one hand, I think that's amazing. I've got a lot of small-sized Pokemon I could bring into this competition. Another thing, you see the image over here, Mimikyu. Mimikyu is going to be allowed in this tournament. That thing is crazy powerful. Can we deal with it? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Anyway, Mimikyu is probably going to be a front runner for a lot of Pokemon. I should choose... I could bring Igaloo. Iron Head. Super effective. There's an idea. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, it is going to be the format of double battles. You can use, of course, held items such as Z Crystals, but you can't use Mega Stones. I'm trying to think, which Pokemon of 1 meter or less can even Mega Evolve? I'm sure there's a few. Can't think of them just yet. Maybe Mawile? I don't know. Anyway, regardless, Mega Stones are not permitted. And you can use Pokemon from previous games, which I think is really cool, because whenever the international challenges come up, I'm limited to just things that I got in the Pokemon Moon playthrough. And as you saw, I didn't get a lot of those Pokemon. So I kept things restricted just because I like to restrict which Pokemon I use to make them more unique and special to me, as opposed to catch everything there is. It's like, oh, I can just choose one of these 50 Pokemon I have. So that's a downside to the international challenges, because I can only use Pokemon from a very small selection of mine. But I love these things like the Tiny Tourney. I can choose everybody from my earlier games as long as they fit the restrictions and requirements. Now, the reward, or the participation prize for entering the Tiny Tourney and completing 3 battles, is a trio of Mega Stones. You can get Gallade-ite, Gardevoirite, and Lopunite. I don't have any of those Pokemon in my collection, but the chance to show off my Pokemon in an online competition, as long as I don't let myself get down in the dumps over too many losses, because I'm sure I'm going to take some losses, I should be able to get some pretty interesting footage for the channel. I would love to show off a lot of small Pokemon on the channel, because you don't see competitions like this every day. So registration for the Tiny Tourney begins on Wednesday, June 14th, and the competition lasts from Friday, June 23rd until Sunday, June 25th, so you have over a week to register. and of course choose your team, which is pretty cool. And you'll be limited to 15 battles per day, which means of course if you don't complete your 15 in one day, the extra will carry over, I'm pretty sure. So a maximum by the end of the weekend, you can get 45 battles in the Tiny Tourney complete, and earn yourself a couple of Mega Stones, or sorry, 3 Mega Stones for your evolved Ralts or Buneary. I almost said Bunnelby. Completely different species. So that is the next online competition. Now here's something that I really haven't, I've seen stuff about it, I haven't gotten into it, I didn't even notice that it was out. You guys hear of Magikarp Jump? It's a new app for iPhone, iPad, and Android devices. It's a mobile app, it's kind of like a mini game sort of a thing. Your whole goal is to train up a Magikarp to jump. Seems simple, but what's really cool, Magikarp is the star of this game. Since when has Magikarp ever done anything of note? Except for maybe in the anime. Wasn't there an episode I've heard where Magikarp beat Pikachu? Or someone at the league pulling my leg about that. Anyway, Magikarp is the star of Magikarp Jump. The basic idea here is you can feed it, food to how does it even work? You can do training to make them jump higher. You can feed them food. You can catch more Magikarp as well, and you decorate their habitat. These are all some in-app purchases you can do, so it's free to play, but there are purchases you can do in-game to get more stuff. And the idea is you want to train your Magikarp to jump as high as possible, and when you get it into jumping tournaments, the higher you go, the better it is, of course, and you can get commemorative photos to share on your social media to show everybody how you're doing with your Magikarp. What's kind of sad, but it makes sense, if your Magikarp gets knocked out, I don't know how, whatever happens, right? I haven't played the game, but if it gets knocked out, or if it hits level 20, which of course, as we know, is when they evolve into Gyarados, you lose that Magikarp. That's right, you cannot use Gyarados, it is a Magikarp-only game. So, you lose the Magikarp, but you get a new generation of Magikarp, and each one apparently is supposed to be a little bit stronger than the previous. So, it's not the end of the world, you lose that current Magikarp, but you get stronger ones later on. What I really like about this, as you can see from one of the images, there are different patterns for Magikarp. Of course, we all are familiar with the basic red Magikarp, the gold scale Magikarp as well for the shiny version. There's a lot of different kinds of Magikarp. There's like a koi colored version. I saw there was like a blue spotted version of Magikarp. It's really cool to see all these different kinds of Magikarp. Now, I was going to make the question of the day something relating to this, but I'll just put a little thought out there right now. I've got a different idea for the question of the day. So, what would you guys think if eventually, what if Game Freak decided to start putting alternate shiny versions of Pokemon? Like, we all know regular Magikarp is gold. What if they gave it a whole different kind of shiny? Like, currently, all the Pokemon in Gen 7 and beyond have one shiny Pokemon color, one color variation. It'd be cool if they eventually made it so there's multiple different kinds of shinies. I would like that, because some of the Pokemon don't have a lot of change. Like, look at Golduck. Golduck is a blue duck, of course, with like a tan beak, tan webbing. When it is shiny, it's like a slightly brighter shade of blue with more pinkish beak and webbing. It's kind of hard to tell the difference. It'd be neat if they had like maybe a green Golduck as an alternate shiny version. So, that's just me rambling. It's a cool idea. I think would be neat in the future of Pokemon to have multiple versions of shiny Pokemon. And this Magikarp might be sort of a way to lead into that. Or, it just hit me. I just got a text. What if these Magikarp variations are different regional variants? What if it's like, well, there's no Alola for Magikarp. What if there's like later on regions that they give us these different pattern Magikarp? They could still just all be water type, but they could have different patterns based on where they come from. That would be neat. And this reminds me, look, I'm getting off topic like crazy. This is almost like Vivian from Gen 6. Based on where you get it, it has a different wing pattern. Was Vivian the original regional variant Pokemon? No, because of course there was Shellos and Gastrodon. But still, it's cool. Anyway, that is Magikarp Jump. So if you want to download that, it's a free download. Go ahead and go to your Google Play or what's the other one? The App Store, I think. I don't know. I have an Android. I use Google Play. I believe Apple devices have the App Store. I might be wrong on that, whatever it's called. But you can go and get Magikarp Jump. I might check it out. I don't know. I'm kind of like tied up. I was talking to my friend Vibrant, and she was saying how it's a nice way to pass the time. And I'm like, I've got Pokemon Pelago I'm still passing my time with, right? Trying to get all my get my berries up to like 300 each for each kind of berry. So maybe I'll get Magikarp Jump eventually. If I do, I probably have to go ahead and get Pokemon Duel. So I haven't even gotten that yet, and that's been out for quite a while. Anyway, enough about Magikarp Jump. If you want it, download it, check it out, see what you think of it. Now, finally, It's been a long time coming, but the rewards, the participation prize for the International Challenge for April, are now available to us. That's right. If you go to Pokemon Global Link and access your account, you can finally get yourself the code to download Sceptilite, Blizgonite, Swampert, which I haven't done yet. I gotta do that as soon as I'm done recording this video, so I can finally get Mega Swampert back in my collection. Skippy must gain the Swift Swim ability, just because it's cool. And I want more Megas, that's always fun. So the, what does it say? I can get it through, I think starting on May 31st is when you can, yeah, May 31st was the first day it was available, which was yesterday. So, you can now, if you participated, go ahead and get yourself those 3 Mega Stones for your collection. Now, the last thing I think there is to mention is, interestingly enough, I didn't think of a question of the day just yet, but I'll think of something before we get to the end of the video. Anyway, the last thing to mention, another Pokemon Sun and Moon bit of information. Another global mission has occurred, or appeared, or arrived, or been initiated, let's say, in the Festival Plaza in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. It is the Fish Pokemon at Rare Spots global mission. And the goal is to collectively catch 250,000 Pokemon or items at the bubbling fishing spots in the Alola region. Now, you know there's plenty of fishing spots, but if you find a bubbling one, you have a better chance for a rare Pokemon or rare items, and the more of those we get each, if we can get 250,000 total across the world, we'll be getting some rewards for that. Now, the competition lasts from May 30th. Why do I always call that a competition? The mission lasts from May 30th, which was on Tuesday, until June 12th. So about 2 weeks or so we have to get this done. The rewards are 4,000 festival coins if you are registered with Pokemon Global Link on your account. If not, you get 2,000 festival coins at least if we complete the goal. If we don't complete it, we get 200 normally, or 400 if you have a Pokemon Global Link account registered to your game, or the game registered to your account, synced up, let's say. If they're both synced together, you get the double reward for the coins. Now, if you're a member of the Pokemon Global Link and we hit a bonus goal of 500,000 Pokemon or items, you not only get those coins, you also get a rare Lure Ball, one of the Kurt Pokeballs made from apricorns back in the Johto region. So, they are a one-time give-out item in-game, and you get another one. I really like how they give these rare Pokeballs in the game as, like, you know, incentive to take part in these missions. Because, if you didn't know, and I found this out as I was doing some breeding, the male Pokemon in a breeding pair now has a chance to pass down their Pokeball style to the offspring. That's how I was getting a bunch of Cyndaquil in Beast Balls, because I got a Beast Ball Cyndaquil from somebody online, and I'm breeding a lot of hidden ability Beast Ball Cyndaquil for people out there. So it's cool to have these rare Pokeballs. It's kind of weird for me to say that as a person who only likes to use regular Pokeballs to capture his Pokemon, but I do like the look of some of these Pokeballs. And I guess by breeding, you're not really increasing the chances of catching them, so I'm okay with having the different designs in that sense. I just like catching things with regular balls, but I kind of mix it up a little bit here and there, you know. I caught a shiny Spinarak in a net ball for my nephew because it just makes sense. A spider in a net, like a spider web kind of thing. Anyway, I'm rambling again. The last thing to mention is, what is this here? Regardless of if we win or lose the global mission, any member of the Pokemon Global League, Pokemon Global Link, that contributes at least 3 Pokemon or items to this competition, this mission, not competition, you'll get 5 rare candies as well. So, if you want to level up some Pokemon or just sell them for cash, you can get 5 rare candies just by adding 3 Pokemon or items into the mission, not competition. So, that is going to be it for the news. Now, I gotta think of a question for the question of the week. Of course, this leads into, for your chance to win one of the code cards for Pokemon TCG Online from these 3 booster packs, just answer the question of the day and include hashtag QOTD in your comment with the answer. And what I'm going to do, since this is a late news update, instead of this coming Sunday being the day that I draw the names, it's going to be the following Sunday, so June 11th, because likely there's not going to be a lot of news anyway from now until not next Monday, but the Monday after, so we'll hold off on the next news update until next Monday. So you have a little bit over a week to answer this question. Question is, I guess in regards to the fact that I was talking about how I was down in the dumps and I missed out on a few uploads here and there. I guess the question of the day for you to answer is, when you're feeling down in the dumps, what do you do to make yourself feel better? It's a pretty simple question, I guess. It makes sense, though. And just answer that question, and on June 11th, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, I'll draw 3 names from the answered questions in the comments down below to win one of these code cards. So, as you probably saw over the weekend from me, when I'm feeling kind of down, I tend to kind of like, I guess, pull away and hide away and stuff like that, because I don't know, I guess you can rely on your friends and family to help you through some down times, but I guess in that particular situation for me, it's like I was just getting more disappointed by video game stuff. It's like no one can really help with that, right? It's just something that I have to get through and muddle my way through until I feel better about it. So that's my usual way to do things. Just kind of hole up, shell myself up and stuff, and then just eventually work through it on my own. There's always the idea of comfort food as well. You can just get yourself something tasty to snack on. And I know for me, a lot of times when I'm just not wanting to do anything and I just need time to relax, I just throw on some YouTube, watch some of my favorite stuff. I've been watching a lot of, I always watch a lot of Markiplier, one of my favorite YouTubers, and my original inspiration for even starting the Pokemon content on my channel here, even though he's not a fan of Pokemon that much, but whatever, we'll put that aside. I've also been watching a lot of Game Grumps lately, too. Wasn't really into Game Grumps initially, but an old friend of mine got me interested in watching it, and they're pretty entertaining guys, so I watch them as well. And yeah, so just watching a bunch of YouTube I find just to help me pass the time until I'm feeling better. So, however you help yourself feel better if you're feeling down in the dumps, just leave that in a comment down below. In response to the question, use hashtag QOTD for a chance to win one of these code cards, which I'm about to open, if I can find my scissors. Spoilers, I found my scissors. Alright, so let's go with the oldest pack of them all. We'll go with the Ancient Origins, of course, first of all. And what am I wanting to get out of this pack? I'm trying to think, what are some major cards that come out of the Ancient Origins? Well, we got the possible shiny Primal Reversions or Mega Rayquaza. So the code card is, oh good, it's facing the backwards way, which means no one gets to see it until someone wins it on Sunday. Don't know why I said Sunday like that, but alright, so let's switch these cards around and see what we get for my collection, starting with, we have a Malamar, which I've said before is cool. A common card is a Stage 1. It's not a bad Stage 1 either. Trash Tentacle. You do a basic 30 damage, but you get to take any discarded card back into your hand. Very good stuff. Next up, we have a Porygon. We've got Golurk, another Stage 1 common card. Spinarak. Oh, Ariados is in this set too. Larvesta. The uncommon cards begin with a Whimsicott. Interesting attack with Windy Mischief. Move all damage from one of your bench Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you have like a Wailord EX on the bench with a lot of damage, you can just push that right back to the opponent. We have a Tyranitar Spirit Link. Last uncommon is a Gloom. The reverse foil is a Combee. And the rare card of Ancient Origins is going to be, that's kind of cool, Vespiquen right after the reverse foil Combee. It's not the Vespiquen people really like to use with the Be Revenge, but it is with the Theta Double. That's Theta, right? I think so. Theta Double, it can hold 2 tools, and V-Drain and Fury Swipes are the attacks. So that's it for Ancient Origins. Let's move on and break into Breakthrough. Like that little play on words there. It's kind of cool. I came up with that on my own. Feel free to use that if you like. If not, it's a pretty stupid joke. Anyways, ignoring that, let's go ahead and get the code card from Breakthrough. Oh, you didn't see that. You didn't get the entire code, and whoop, gone. Alright, so this goes to the side as well. And let's see what cards come from the Breakthrough. So starting with the commons as always, we have a, what are you, Floette? No, sorry, Flabebe. We've got a Fennekin. Here is Starly. Next is Swinub, and the last common is an Inkay to go with that Malamar we just got. So the uncommon begins. We've got ourselves a Snorlax with Plump Body. Any damage done to it is reduced by 30. It's always good to have an ability that just reduces damage. Pretty cool. Takes a lot of energy to power up for the attack to strike back, but the defensive properties are pretty good. We've got a Stunfisk. Last uncommon is going to be a Fisherman. I like Fisherman. 2 energy retrievals and a single supporter card right there. Reverse foil is a Chespin. The rare card of this pack is going to be an Aromatisse. Heavy Perfume, which is kind of cool. The opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Put 6 damage counters instead of 3 if it hurts itself, which is neat. And Hug for 30. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during the next turn. So nothing super crazy out of that pack, but it's now time to see what Fate holds in store for Fates Collide. Again, an awesome play on words. I should take a break more often and come back with such a refreshed mindset, refreshed sense of comedic timing, all this good stuff to make these videos more entertaining for you. Also, a lot longer than usual too, because it is currently over the half-hour mark. So here's the code card to the side. Let's see what our final pack of the day has to give us. Spoilers, I did not feel any full art. texture on the card, so nothing super crazy, I don't think, unless it's an EX or something. So the commons begin with a Binacle. We've got a Meowth. That's right. We've got Whismur. Now it's interesting Whismur's in this set. It has Round, which works well with previous Pokemon that have Round in their attack, but there haven't been a lot lately, and I don't think there's any other standard cards currently, well, cards in the standard format that have Round attack. We've got a Minccino. Last common is going to be a Cottony, which we can now evolve into the Whimsicott we just got. We have an uncommon Shuckle. Hydaberry, I've used this before in a video, is pretty cool if you're going to use fossil Pokemon, because if you can put the Pokemon on the bottom and then play a fossil on your next turn, you know for sure your fossil is going to work. Next we have a Chinchino. Last uncommon is going to be Kangaskhan. Reverse foil is a Reuniclus, and that's a pretty interesting Pokemon too, which does more damage if you have a benched Solosis, Duosion, and Reuniclus. You can do 130, I believe, 90, no, 150, 190 damage if you have one of each of its evolutionary stages on the bench. I like that. And the rare card is going to be a Mandibuzz with Bone Drop, which does 60 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability, and a Cutting Wind for 80 damage. So that was the stuff I got out of my packs. Not amazing, as I said, but you have a chance to win some possibly better cards, at least in the online game. If you win one of these 3 code cards, I have them all mixed up, all different orders and stuff like that. Randomly drawn, of course, once we do the drawing on Sunday, June 11th. And once again, question of the day to answer with hashtag QOTD in your comment is, when you're feeling down in the dumps, what do you do to make yourself feel better? So just leave that answer down below, and you have a chance to win one of those 3 code cards that I just pulled out. With all that, we are now done for the news update for the day. A lengthier one than usual, but again, I rambled about 10 minutes about what things were going on in my life for the past little while there. So anyway, all that being said, it is now time to end off. So if you want to check out some more content here on the Professor Chaz channel, now that I'm sort of getting back into the rhythm of it, there'll be some links during the outro to some videos, and later today, there will be another Pokemon Yellow randomized Nuzlocke. I just gotta sit down, record it, and edit it, and get it all uploaded and all that good stuff for you guys out there. But with that, of course, oh wait, you can also subscribe, if you're not currently subscribed, by clicking on my face during the outro as well. But, as I say, with that, we are done. Thanks for watching the news update video thingy. Hopefully you'll come back later on today to watch the Pokemon Yellow randomized Nuzlocke, and stay tuned for more content from Pokemon over the weekend. I'm hoping to do another Pokemon TCG video, using some more Pokémon-GX from the current Guardians Rising expansion. But we are now done. Thanks once again for watching. Professor Chaz is signing off, and I will catch you next time.